We caught a kidnapper one time because of a tip that a person walked up to a jundi, that's the Arabic for soldier, and gave the jundi. So, the fact that nobody else understands that is commonplace just based on lack of accuracy in news reporting in most organizations. I saw very few reporters here, and I understand why. I mean, it's dangerous, but they don't get out here and then they get the data wrong, and so misperceptions are perpetuated, like what you said about the Marines not being close to the Jundi, which is false, as well as huge sectarianism in Anbar, which is also false.
Okay. Well, like I said, I'm glad we're capturing this on film. Like I said, for future reference, I'm sure some historian or something would be interested to know, after reviewing news reports at that time, that the war was quite different on the ground. So there were no problems with the citizens of the city, nor the soldiers of the 7th Division. Before we get started on the timeline, I'm still trying to kind of clarify a few things about the Iraqis themselves. I understand that there were some problems per se with the Iraqi units needing to actually drive home to pay their families or whatnot. Could you please explain that?
Yeah, this has been a perpetual problem the whole war. Iraqi army units, any unit that serves in a place different from where it lives, they require a huge percentage of their time be allotted to leave. Rough estimation is 10 days out of 30 for an Iraqi army soldier. He has to be on leave. And that's simply because there's no electronic banking in Iraq. There's no ATM machines. So when you get paid, it's in cash. And the only way for your family to receive the cash is for you to physically go there and give it to them, or to give it to another person who goes and delivers it for you. But that's undertaken at the risk of the person stealing your money. So the lack of an effective banking system in the country necessitates 1/3 of your security forces being on leave at any given point in time, which of course retards your ability to develop them.
So how much of the unit would you say would be gone at any given time?
1/3.
1/3. And you said that the majority of these soldiers were from Sadr city, from Baghdad.
Right.
Okay. So when they left, they were gone for 3, 4, 10 days.
Let me back up. 1/4 would be gone. There were 4 companies. One company would always be on leave. So because there were 3 remaining, I'm saying 1/3 in my head, but it's 1/4 of the companies were gone, basically for 8 days at a time.
Okay, so they were just given some kind of blocked leave at that time.
Right.
Okay.
It would be a month, a rotation through the month set up so that every month, for 1/4 of the month, you could be home delivering your money and visiting your family. I mean, that's part of it too, but some soldiers would work for 2 months straight, theoretically. They wouldn't go on leave. But if they did that, their family didn't get pay for that period of time.
And the Iraqi army is structured a bit different than American units, in the sense that they could just go home and never come back, and there's really no repercussions.
Yeah.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to get is they were actually coming back, the majority.
Yeah, these guys came back. We certainly had problems with absenteeism, and it happened more and less at different points in the deployment sometimes. But in general, if a soldier doesn't come back from leave, there's no mechanism to go apprehend him or something. And even if he comes back, he probably is allowed to remain a soldier, because there was always a manpower shortage that we lived under. So the most dangerous places in Iraq, Ramadi was that then, in the fall of 2005 and the spring of 2006. You'd have problems getting guys to come back. The same thing with interpreters. They would go away on leave. They got 2 days of leave a month, and a lot of times they wouldn't come back because it was violent.
Okay. But for the majority of the time, the unit in Ramadi, the Iraqi unit in Ramadi, was fairly TO. No.
in addition to guys not coming back off deployment, you also had a problem of not enough guys signed up in the first place. So their TO was roughly 700 if my memory serves, and we had about 500. And of the 500, a quarter would be on leave at any one time. So that would make 375. That was roughly what we worked with.
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess we'll move on to the actual deployment itself. The first month, I believe, was September. Do you remember any? Oh, before we go on, is there anything else you want to mention about the all the questions we covered prior?
No, I think it'll come out as we talk.
Okay. All right, sir. Then let's move on to the first month. It was. I recall that was about the time there was some elections taking place in Iraq. I assume the company was involved in that.
Right.